It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Not a lot of time to dilly-dally today. In fact, I don't even think I have a Kelly's What Are You Into today, so I feel bad about that because we always have a Kelly's What Are You Into. You know, maybe I'll squeeze one in at the end, but we're going to just get right into it. Today I'm calling my buddy Wes. I planned on 10 minutes. It's 22 minutes talking to my buddy. This is part of the Peaceful Valley series that I'm going to do throughout the maybe next year, where every now and then I'm going to try to do maybe one or two a month, where I call one of the guys who played basketball with me at Peaceful Valley. We're going to talk some basketball, but we're going to talk life. We're going to talk life. We're going to talk about stuff that happens outside of hoops. Wes is very motivational to me, and so if you are somebody who is maybe, my age or around my age, and you're starting to feel that, like, Wes has always been very motivational to me. So we'll talk about that, him being a dad and how he navigates all the craziness that's in his life with him still loving hoops. We're going to get into that. Wes, I love Wes. Wes is somebody near and dear to my heart. I would have fought about anyone. I think we talk about it a bit, but I would have fought about anyone at Peaceful. Especially a couple years ago when I really was a hothead before I had to come to Jesus, sit down conversation with some people, and they're like, dude, just calm down. And I was like, yeah, I'm being an idiot. And I would let aggression out in the wrong way at that run. Wes was someone who I would never get mad at. He's just a salt of the earth people, even though he's a 49ers fan. So we're going to talk to him in just a second. Before we get into that, though, I wanted to give a shout out to some advertising, because this is happening in my house. And we had a moment earlier this week where the conversation came up between parents about screen time with kids, which is kind of like, there's a bunch of hot button issues if you're a parent and you're talking to other parents that get some people worked up, and you kind of know the group you're in when someone's ready to jump down someone's throat. If they have an opinion on a subject of parenting, and then they can get you to discuss it from the other side, they're ready just to come at you. So the conversation of screen time came up, and I could tell that it came up in a way that this was looking to be argued for why screen time is bad for kids. And when the person brought it up, my instinct immediately was just to lie and say, we do not allow a lot of screen time for our kids. And then all I could think was, that's going to be really hard to defend when my son comes into this room singing his favorite song right now, Liberty, 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 Liberty. My son's favorite song is a jingle from a commercial, because we watch so much YouTube in this house that he's seen the Liberty commercial enough that is the song. If we're in the car and we ask, Olivia, what song do you want to hear? She wants to hear Bluey. Huck, what song do you want to hear? Liberty. That's the song he chooses in the car to hear. He wants to hear the 4-second Liberty, Liberty, Liberty jingle. So I just said, yeah, we don't mind screen time in my house. And I just kind of put my head down and hoped not to get the wrath of the people who are very anti it. We watch enough that my kids know the jingles for all the commercials. Let's talk to Wes, shall we? Let's talk to one of my favorite folks from one of my favorite people. Got to talk to Wes a little earlier, and it sounded something like this. It's not very often that I let a 49ers fan come on the podcast, but we make exceptions for the good ones. Wes, what's up, man?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so here's what I've been doing. I talked to our buddy Darnay about this, and he kind of he was the first person on. I'm kind of getting a hold of as many Peaceful Valley guys as I can to catalog it, so that when I'm really old, I can look back on it and hear everyone's voices. And you were someone I wanted to get on early, because I think you are kind of one of the guys, like one of the biggest reasons why any of our Peaceful Valley run happened.
Oh, really? Like I was one of the main reasons, huh?
I think so, because I knew Darnay, who we talked about how much we loved the Peaceful run. And the reason, I think one of the reasons was he brought your run down from, like, you had a bunch of guys you knew who played hoops up at the South Hill, like Move Fitness or something.
Yep, exactly. We had a decent amount of guys there, and you remember Matt, he was there as well.
Yeah.
And I think both of them invited me down, and that's when I met y'all.
And dude, you are like well connected in the Spokane area, well connected with a lot of basketball, which is something I want to talk to you about, because Wes, I think, so I'm 42. I think are you 2 years older than me? Are you 44?
I'm 4 years older than you. I'm 46 now.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I just turned 46 in January.
Okay, so Wes, here's one of the things, and one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about. I'm amazed. Every year it felt like you were getting in better and better shape, while a lot of us, especially me, I was just losing a step every single year, and you were gaining it. And I don't know how you're doing this.
You know, I'm addicted to working out and being in shape, I think is why. And, you know, I didn't go anywhere after high school with basketball, but I always wished I had a chance to, and I just always wanted to get better. So I work on it all the time, every year, all year long. I'm always working on different things, and you know, it's just I'm a student of the game. I love it, so I just want to get better all the time.
So Wes, people who played with us, they know who you are, and we all know you're a deadly assassin and one of the best who's ever played down at that court. I mean, really, truly, you are, dude. You are. I mean, I thought about it today. I thought if in Peaceful Valley can get weird down there by that court, if we showed up one day and some guy pulled a knife on me and said, "You're losing an eye, but you have to choose someone to shoot a 3-pointer, and if it goes in, you keep it." I mean, you're on the short list of guys I'm having shoot for it. I mean, I think everyone would agree you're going to make the shot.
Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, I work on it all the time.
So here's what I'm impressed by, Wes, because I think this is cool for people who are like getting to be my age and is just starting to feel bummed out about the fact that, oh man, in my 30s, I had a lot more energy. I was a lot better at this, and I start to get bummed out about that. Not only are you doing all this, you have a family. Like, it's not like you're just a single guy who can just work out all the time. You're right now at your daughter's soccer practice. Like, you have a busy life.
Oh, so busy. I've got to take kids to practice 3 to 4 days a week. But it's worth it. It actually, being able to play as much basketball that I do, I gotta give props to my wife, of course. I mean, if she wasn't cool and helping me out, letting me, have the time to play and everything, none of it would happen. But it's nice to show the kids as well, like, just because you're older doesn't mean you have to stop doing something you love, and working hard and all that good stuff. So
I love it. How many times a week are you playing right now? How many times a week do you play?
Right now I'm playing about 3, and there's usually a couple I turn down every week. So I could probably play up to 5 times a week right now if I wanted. I can't do that because that's really hard on the body. I try to at least skip a day in between, so every other day at the best. But it's about 3 times a week.
Okay, I mean, it's awesome, and you play hard. It's not like you just go down there and you just stand there and shoot threes. You are one of the guys who runs the entire game. You're one of those guys who just never ever stops, and it's so annoying when it's not on. When you're not on my team, it's really annoying.
Oh, I get it. People complain. I'm sure you complain. They're like, "Oh, I hate Garden West because he just never stops moving."
Yeah.
But it's I'm short. That's how I get open, man. I got to keep moving. I got to tire whoever's guarding me out. Is how I get my shot.
You also have this aura about you of like real kindness. You know me. I think I've been in a fight with pretty much every single person who we played with over the years. I don't ever one time think I was mad at you ever. Like, it's weird. That's a rarity, man.
I get that a lot. My wife, back to my wife again, she says, anytime we're hanging out with friends or whatever, she's like, if someone doesn't like Wes, something's wrong with them.
Yeah.
Or if Wes doesn't like somebody, something's wrong with them because Wes likes everybody. And I don't like conflict. I don't like to get in arguments. So I try to just keep it lighthearted about everything. So
well, I'll tell you how much I respected that was, that if new guys showed up to the court, I was the first one to play gatekeeper. And I was like, look, we have a specific way of doing things down here, because I think we had a pretty good run where it was different than a lot of pickup runs where we would pass the ball. Everyone was going to get shots. Everyone was going to get a little love, where you go to a lot of open gyms and it's just fire away. If you brought a guy, I never questioned it. I never, ever questioned a guy that you brought down. Now, if Mike brought a guy down, I'm questioning the heck out of him. It's probably a shady dude who doesn't know what he's doing. But if you brought a guy down, we knew they were going to be a good hooper, and we knew they were going to be good people. That's just what you surround yourself with. You surround yourself with your wife, who I always loved it. You don't do it anymore because none of the peaceful guys like social media, so I can never follow on how you guys are doing. But for a long time, I knew I could get one West post on my birthday, because your wife's birthday, I believe, is October 23rd.
Yep, that's right.
So I always would see because that's at my birthday, and every time my birthday would roll around, I knew I would finally get a post from Wes on social media. Like I'd get the Wes post where it was like, "Happy birthday, wife," and I'm like, "Good, Wes is alive."
Yep, exactly. I'm not a big poster. I never have been. I would do the wife birthday and Mother's Day stuff like that. But, my wife stopped doing Instagram and stuff, so I don't have to do that anymore. So we're good.
Why aren't you doing workout videos? If you're 46 and you're in as good a shape as you are in, I need you to start doing workout videos. The motivation is strong from you.
I should. I love working out. You know that. I love working out, playing ball, and I could post some things about, hey, I played ball, lifted, whatever, I got some guys at work that are like, are you kidding me? You worked out in the morning, then you got home and worked out again, and then you went and played ball? That's just a normal day for me.
Wait, you're not doing double workouts?
Sort of. Yeah, I'll do like a 20-minute ride in the morning, maybe some abs, and then I'll come home after work and get a lift in. Not every day, but 3 days a week.
Wait, hang on. How long? This is the stuff I didn't want to hear, Wes. I wanted to hear that at some point. I wanted to hear that 3 times basketball, like playing 3 times a week, would get you in good shape. I didn't want to hear how many minutes a day are you working out?
Oh gosh, at least 60. If not, when I play ball, it's another hour and a half at least. So, like yesterday, for instance, I woke up, rode, did my abs, then I lifted right after work, and then had basketball that night. So I probably worked out for, I don't know, 2.5 hours or so.
You're insane. You're insane. I wanted to give you credit to you, because I don't think I ever did this in person with you, but you were really influential and a big part of me getting through a really rough patch with my son, because I had my daughter, my son rolled around. He was really, really difficult as an infant, and it was really killing me. And I brought a very bad attitude to basketball a lot of times, which I'm sure you saw, but you would tell me, you were like, dude, it's always stays crazy, but it does get better.
Oh, yeah. I have quite a few kids. I've been through a lot. My youngest is 11 now. So, but I like to tell new dads because, I feel like the people that I know, I had kids way before most people. So I've kind of been in the dad game a lot longer. But I don't know. It does get easier. The second kid's always hard. And I'll say this forever. 3-year-olds are the worst.
Oh,
they're the hardest kids to keep up with. You know this by now.
Oh, Wes, man, they kick my butt. I mean, I'm serious. It's just like there's days get done, and I tell my wife we'll want to sit down and kind of hang out for a little bit, and we both look at each other, and one of us is so exhausted because we've been just chasing that it's like we'll talk in the morning, but someone's got to get some sleep right now. Yep,
exactly. But no, the kids, they're so active, but I mean, it gets easier, you get used to it, and new challenges as they get older, different, I should say. And then you get to relax a little, but then you got to deal with, more attitude.
Yeah, I know.
Which I'm sure you know about with your daughter right now.
Oh, dude, my daughter and my wife are going to kill each other at some point, and my son and I will be there with popcorn, just waiting to watch the fireworks.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wait, which one of your kids is one of your kids going to go after your wife?
My daughter. Yep, my daughter. She's 14 now, almost 15, and she's got the attitude just like the wife. So they're gonna butt heads. I'm guessing about 16 to 18.
Yeah,
and then they're gonna be best friends when they get older.
Isn't it crazy? That's how my wife was with her mom, and it's so wild, and it's so weird being on the dad side of things, because you realize all the things you love about your wife, your kid has, and then you go, but that probably can't coexist in the same house smoothly. Like that,
you're absolutely right.
For me it'll be fine, but I don't think that coexists together well. So yeah, you're going to be the leader on this in our friend group. So we're going to just kind of follow your lead, and in 3-4 years we're all going to text you and be like, brother, well, how do we navigate it? And you'll either be alive or you will have died in the chaos, and we'll know not to do what Wes did.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's that's good. I don't mind being the leader and letting you all know how it goes down. I feel like, I've been a dad more than I haven't been. Yeah. I had my first at 18, so I've raised 5, including my stepson. So it's crazy, man. But we're at the stage now. I got 11 and 14, and we can go to the store and leave them home. we can go have dinner. We can go out to dinner for a couple hours and leave them home. So it gets amazing, I promise.
I know, because there was a moment where we were playing hoops and I was really frustrated, and you said, look, there gets to be a day where your kids, you don't have to be by the phone 24/7, like waiting to see like who needs what at the infant stage. They can actually take care of themselves a little bit by themselves at home, and you get a little bit of freedom. Like you get at least a little bit of freedom back.
Yeah, you do. And like I said, it gets more as they get older. At each stage, it gets a little better. The more independence, more they can do for themselves. Like, it's been a big deal now in our house that our kids can make their own lunch for school. That gets so old every day, waking up, making lunch, making lunch for school. And when you don't have to do that anymore, it's like, wow, it feels like it saves so much time, even though it's, 5 minutes of your day, but it makes a big difference, and it helps your mindset anyway.
Okay, I do need help with this because I make my daughter's lunch and I feel like a terrible dad because it's peanut butter jelly every single day. Like, what's in the arsenal for Wes that I need to incorporate in?
Meat and cheese sandwiches, whatever meat they like with cheese. Those are always good. Those are quick. Peanut butter and jelly is usually pretty good, but my daughter started doing she makes her own Lunchables, like the Lunchable pizza ones.
Yes.
So we would buy her, actually she's doing it nowadays at times. She'll do a pita bread, she'll have some pizza sauce, throw some meat and cheese in baggies, and she's on the way. And she makes it when she's at school. Obviously she's got to be a little older than that, but we used to make that at home too. And she'd have that for school lunches. So it was pretty easy anyway.
What's on your lunch schedule? Because I feel like you're not probably allowed to eat anything bad with the physique you have.
Actually, you'd be amazed at the crap I eat. My lunches are pretty, we go to Trader Joe's, so I just buy some soups and burritos and, some frozen meals. They're all pretty healthy, as you know, from Trader Joe's.
Yeah, they are.
But, I love chocolate. We have cookies and chocolate peanut butter cups at home, and I'm a food, not a junkie, but I like junk food.
Well, Wes, I noticed that you
never have to work out so hard.
Yeah, I guess because I noticed you never showed up after hoops to eat pizza and drink beer with Mike and I, as you're out there just killing it, getting younger, and Mike and I are like, you know what we'll do after we just burnt a bunch of calories? We'll put them all back in times 2.
That's so true. I always wish, I always wanted to go and have lunch or have a beer. I always had to go back to work, man.
I know.
You guys, I'd see your posts like, oh, we're having a beer and great day at hoops, whatever, having a beer and some pizza. And I was like, dang, I'm back at work, sitting at my desk. It sucks.
Yeah, you're like, I've already had a workout. I've already had a run in. I'm getting ready for my next workout, and then I've got to run kids to all these practices. I love it. Well,
exactly.
Dude, real quick, peaceful thing for you before you get back to watching your kid play sports. Like I said, you're one of the guys who, when we started this run, you were one of the very first guys. The very first day we were there, you were there. And then the very last day that I played, you were there. You've played as much as anybody who's been down there over that span of when we played. Give me the name of the guy who, if they were on your team, you were going to win. Give me a name.
Ooh, gosh, right now?
Yeah, and I don't want it to be Jason. I don't want it to be Jason. Jason is too new to this, but Jason, you brought your buddy Jason down, who was an absolute killer and just torched us for the last 2 summers. I hated him.
Yeah, I know. He's amazing, and that's why I wanted him to come down. I always hated being against him.
Dude, gosh.
I'm going to say Marcus.
Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse.
I know.
That's a worse
answer. But I also think about Tony.
Yeah.
When I hear Tony, when Tony's on my team, he's just a beast, and the guy is just sound at everything he does. So I'm going to say those 2 guys. I know Marcus sucks. You just want to slap me for that one.
Golly.
But yeah.
Well, here's what you picked. You know what you picked, and you're right. You picked 2 guys who, with you, work extremely well because they're guys who can score it, but they're 2 of the more unselfish guys we had down there.
Yep.
And both of them know that if you're open, if Wes is open, get him the ball, and you're going to score it. And and they're both good passers. So you made a good choice. I mean, I hate that you said that, but golly. And I noticed, I got a picture from Mike on Tuesday. It was Jason, Max, Andy, him, and Cody. I didn't see you in the picture, Wes.
I got a new job, man. I am way up north. I can't go down anymore. My peaceful time has come to an end, at least for now.
That makes me feel better. Like badly. Unfortunately, that makes me feel better. I
know, right?
That does make me feel better.
Well, the last year without you being there, or how long it's ever been since you haven't been there, man, it's weird. I once started, well, you know how weird it was when Darnay left, but we kept it going.
It was great.
And now that you're gone, it's like, man, it's weird.
It was great when Darnay left. It was great. What are you talking about?
I love when you two would go at it. I mean, you two would argue, you would jaw, but it was awesome. I loved every second.
He was, so my brother's 14 years younger than me, and I always thought Darnay was about as close as I felt to having like a brother in sports, because I mean, we would get legit mad where I wanted to kill him, and he would want to kill me. And then, you know, just like the brother stuff, an hour later, you know, we're able to hang out, and it's like everything's cool. It's just that weird thing that I think a lot of guys have, and you don't hold the grudge. But when the game was going, the anger between Darnay and I was real. It wasn't phony baloney. That was real hatred.
That's funny.
That was bad.
That makes me laugh even more. Like, you guys would go at it sometimes, and I remember looking at a couple different people, like Mike and or Marcus or whoever, and being like, "Is this for real? Are they going to throw down?" Obviously, you guys never got there, but man, it got pretty heated, and it was fun.
I realized real quick when I kind of thought I had a lot of guys in my corner, and it was like, if this goes down, I'm going to have a bunch of guys backing me up. And then on one of the days, Marcus was like, yeah, if he punches you, like, you earned it. And when I heard that from one of the guys who I thought was getting my back, I was like, I better be careful, because Darnay might waste me on the court, and they'll just roll me. They'll roll me off to the side underneath the benches and be like, when you wake up, you're good to come back in, but like, we're going to keep playing.
Yeah, get off the court. We're playing here.
Get off the court, man. We've had some strange things, and people playing with us down there. We're fine rolling a body off to the side. That's not going to be anything new for us down at Peaceful.
Yeah, it's like the norm down there. So,
any good concerts coming this summer?
Awesome.
Any concerts coming this summer you and your wife are going to? I feel like that's the only place I saw you outside of hoops. You're always at a concert.
Yeah. No concert, but we did get. You don't know about this team, the Spokane Velocity, the new pro team.
Yes.
Soccer. We have tickets to that. We got season tickets to that.
Is it awesome?
So that's pretty awesome. Oh, it's amazing. We had to miss one game already, but we went to the opening game. It was on St. Patrick's Saturday, but it was amazing. They won 2-1. It was great. The stadium's amazing. So that's one thing we're going to. And the only other thing we're going to this year, I don't know if you know who Kevin Hart is. I love Kevin Hart. He's hilarious.
No, I've never heard of him, Wes.
He's from Spokane.
I didn't know. Wait a second. I think that's just a short guy thing, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You got to
exactly.
So mean. See, I'm still mean, Wes. That hasn't changed. I moved out here, but I'm still very, very hateful. So I heard about that though, and it's a killer lineup, that comedy show.
Oh, yeah, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know who else is going. I just saw Kevin Hart, and my wife got tickets, and I was just done. I'm happy.
Oh,
so
that'll be
Who
cool.
else is playing?
I think like Tom Segura or something like that is on it also. Like it's. I feel like there's three huge names. I'm very jealous of you for that. Speaking of the Velocity, I was so mad the other day. They were in Lexington, and I didn't even realize it. And someone sent me a box score from the spokesman, and they're like, "Hey, dude, did you go to this game?" And I thought I would have been there in a second if I would have known.
Yeah, you would have.
Yeah, that they were in town playing. That would have been super cool. Because I think it's really an awesome team for Spokane to have. I love that kind of stuff.
Oh, I do too. It's amazing how actually big soccer is, youth soccer at least, in Spokane. Yeah. Just with my kids being in it, it is humongous. So them bringing two pro teams, men's and women's, is awesome.
I love that.
I'm really stoked. Yeah, we might get tickets to the women's next year too. We'll see.
Look at you.
But yeah.
Look at you. Hey, you got 50. You got 50,000 kids. You play basketball 3 times a week. You work out 40 hours a day, and you're going to still squeeze in time for a men's and women's soccer schedule. Look at you.
Well, yeah, I got to have time with the wife too, you know?
You got to do it, baby. You got to
Take her
do
out
it.
on dates.
You got to do it. All right, Wes.
That's
Hey,
it.
man, I miss you. I appreciate you taking the call. You are. I will always give you credit as one of the guys who started one of my favorite things in my entire life, meeting all the guys down there.
Yep.
So I thank you
Yep,
for
me
that.
too.
I always appreciated the fact that you would invite me to all the other runs you were in, because you had access to about 50 gyms in Spokane, and you were kind enough to extend the invite. So thank you for that as well.
Hey, you're welcome. You were always one of my favorite people to play with, so I always wanted you to come anywhere I played, just because you're so, I don't know, you know basketball, great basketball IQ, and you're just a nice guy. So
no,
anytime, I thank you for inviting me down.
No, baloney. You wanted me to fight someone, and you wanted to be there for it. I know how it went. I noticed you never wanted to make it to be on my team. You just kind of wanted to be around the chaos.
Absolutely. I just want to watch. I'm getting my popcorn ready, you know?
I love it, brother. Man, hopefully we'll see you at Hoop Fest this summer. I'd love to bump into you up there, all right?
Oh, yeah. You better find me when you're down here.
All right, sounds good, man.
Sorry.
Take it easy, Wes. Thank you.
All right, bud. Take it easy.
Later.
Bye.
I love Wes. I mean, I don't know that the Peaceful Valley interviews are they're going to be the most beloved interviews and stuff that we do on this podcast. I hope listening or watching on YouTube, that these, to me, the people we get on for this are as near and dear to my heart as anyone. These are people that I would bend over backwards to help. I'd always be there if there was a call from any of the guys we get on from this. I would be there in a second for them. Wes is high up on that list as one of the all-time quality people, and I kid you not when I tell you, this guy was in great shape when we started playing in 2016 together. The last summer, he was maybe in better shape than in 2016 when he would have been in his late 30s. And he's 46. He was 45 last summer, and he was probably in the best shape of anyone who showed up there. So I find that to be extremely motivating, and I think that's very cool. And it's just one of those things I need to lock into my brain to remember. Look, just because you got kids, you got life, you got all this stuff, it doesn't mean you have to neglect that part of life. You can still make it work. It takes effort. Wes has got more effort than me.
Kelly's, what are you into?
Nick Nurse, shout out to you. I've discussed this plenty. I think I've done a whole podcast episode on this before, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever it was. And Nick Nurse is going to get the thumbs up for this, because he's the guy in the playoffs who's made me think about this the most. If you are someone who supports and wants coaches in suits, you are severely antiquated, and you're very outdated, and you're nuts. Because what Nick Nurse is doing is what I need every time I see him coaching, every time I see him on the sideline. He's got a sweatshirt on that I'm like, where do I get that? Where do I get that? I've never, ever thought that with a suit before in my life. Anytime a coach has worn a suit on the sideline, I've never been like, oh, this college basketball coach is wearing this suit. I wonder what brand it is. I want to go buy one. But when Mark Few and the Gonzaga coaches switched to this, and even the Eastern coaches went to polo shirts for a while, all of a sudden they were wearing items that as an older guy, I thought, oh, I could wear that stuff. I could actually go find that sweatshirt Nick Nurse is wearing. I could actually go find that zip up that Mark Few's wearing. And I just think it's brilliant marketing by these coaches who are not in the suits. I think the suits are the dumbest play you can do right now. I think your marketability, I think in terms of making money, you are killing it when you're wearing something that a guy like me would want for Father's Day, right? I'm 42 years old. I'm not wearing what the 23, 24, 25-year-olds are wearing. I'm not wearing what the NBA guys are wearing walking into the arena. What am I wearing? I'm wearing what another old guy would wear, but not a suit. So I shout out to Nick Nurse and the guys who are doing the coaching thing in the team gear that you can buy at the team store. I think it's a brilliant move. I think that the NBA would be smart to do a better job of putting like a coach's lineup on their website. If you go to the NBA website and you go to clothing, you're buying stuff, obviously jerseys and t-shirts for teams are everywhere. But why wouldn't you put a tab on there that says the coach's stuff and sell me, my everyday walking around wear? All the stuff that a guy like Nick Nurse wears is stuff that I would want to wear out and about. Put that up on the website. I would totally dabble with that. Chauncey Billups. The Blazers coach, he also wears like a bunch of polos. Put that on the Blazers website, like the Chauncey Billups section. I cannot look cool in what Shaden Sharp is wearing. I could look okay in what Chauncey Billups is wearing. So I'm going to give my Kelly's What Are You Into to those NBA coaches, those college basketball coaches who have thrown the suit out the window and are wearing normal human clothes that I could actually go to the store and buy and wear on my day-to-day life. I think that's a really smart move. I think it's very cool. Great job. Let's do some comments. I think there were some comments. I forgot to bring them up because I got excited that I was talking to Wes today, but I can bring them up real quick. We got to go to YouTube as a place you can comment. If you're watching on YouTube, you can comment there. If you're listening on Spotify, you can go to today's episode. There's a Q&A section, and you can enter your comment there, or you can just go to the website, nice and easy, seanslife.com. And at seanslife.com, there's a comment box. You can go there and put your comment in. Roberta said this on YouTube. Ross is her son. Ross said, don't advertise where you can get ROMs. There are lawyers everywhere. Too late. Peanut butter allergies are the worst. I'm so glad that is one I don't have. I had a little girl in my classroom that we had to totally segregate and then go through kids' lunches to see who could sit with her. Sadness. Roberta, that's brutal. I mean, that stuff, what do you do? What do you do? Like the public school thing. It's got to be so hard as a parent to know you have to send your kid to do a lot of things. You can't just keep them in the bubble forever, but also knowing that what's another 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old? They don't know about. They're not trying to be harmful with eating their peanut butter sandwich around your kid, the peanut butter jam, peanut butter jelly sandwich around your kid. They're just trying to be a kid, and they're putting your kid in harm. That's a tough one to navigate. All right, let's go to Spotify, where we have, I think we had one on Spotify. Here it is. It is from Yvonne. Yvonne says, it was great hearing Kevin James and you collaborate on new ideas. Funny how it went from what he wanted at his house to new dance program ideas. Missed my comment from Monday since you got a call. Yeah, sorry about that. I missed like 4 or 5 comments, Yvonne. That was bad. We had gone through a spell where there was no comments, very few comments, 2 or 3 an episode, and then we had 4 or 5 on Monday's episode, and I didn't even read them because I got a phone call and it shut down my video and all that. So I apologize to everyone who commented who didn't get theirs read. That is on me. We're back to it. So if you feel like commenting, we read them at the end. Thank you so much. Also, huge shout out to the Patreon members out there, patreon.com/Sean Widmer podcast. I think there's going to be an extended one this weekend. It might be solo dolo. It might be just me. So, you might not be too super excited about that, but I expected to do 3 to 4 a month. I want to make sure we get something up, and I should have some free time this weekend. Who knows? Maybe we'll find someone to rap with for the extended episode. I did want to talk a little Survivor, so I forgot to promote it at the beginning, but I wanted to talk some. If you don't care about Survivor, now's the time to say goodbye. But if you do like Survivor... Oh, that episode hurt. That episode hurt. I loved Hunter on that show. I don't think I'm alone in that. I'm assuming a lot of people enjoyed Hunter on that show. He was good, wholesome television. A challenge beast. Seemed extremely likable. Didn't seem very mean. I thought it was weird how the last 2 weeks people were starting to portray him as a meathead. And I thought that was kind of weird and dumb because I don't think he was dumb. I know he left the game with an idol. He panicked at this tribal council. What I kind of thought happened was everything they had teased about Hunter at the very beginning of the season, which was small town guy, farm kid, not the most socially adept human, that kind of caught up to him, I thought. And I just think the chaos that happened around him was great for people who were. It's very easy for people to lie in this game. The people who are really good at Survivor. It's really easy for them to lie in this game, and I'm not saying that painting them to be a bad person. I think there's just a specific group of people who have high standards but understand the game, and they're capable of just lying in it, knowing that that's just them in the game, but outside of the game, they're very different. And I think like someone like Charlie might be like that. Someone like Maria might be like that. Kenzie might be like that. And I just think that Hunter doesn't have that in him. As much as maybe he wants to have it in him, I don't think he does. And so he got caught up in all that, didn't play his idol at Tribal Council, gets the boot. Q is losing his ever-loving mind. Q is a nightmare, but I mean, the smartest thing that they did was get Hunter out this episode. Everybody else, as much as I'm bummed about it, because Q is in terms of long game, Q's a non-factor. The only thing you have to worry about with Q, which is a big deal, is he's not going to be a solid vote every week. He is a complete wild card vote. And, you know, if you're Tiffany, he's probably going to come at you, and he's probably going to be Tiff votes for a little while. But that's the one thing I don't know that you can rein him in. So keeping him is a liability because he could vote for you just as easy as anybody else. But getting rid of him over Hunter, you're getting rid of somebody who can't win against someone who absolutely could win. So the smart move was to get rid of Hunter. I was just bummed out because I wanted him to win. I was really hoping he would have played his idol. I also understand wanting to keep your idol, right? Tiffany got to keep hers, and you get new life for another week. And now Tiffany's probably at a point where she has to play it. And for Hunter, you go, look, if you can survive a vote with your idol, you buy yourself another week. You also may win immunity, but they're always going to be targeting you at this point. Like at this point, if you're Hunter, and this is my thinking in his head, they're always going to be coming at you from this point on. So at some point, you're not going to have an idol to protect you and have to survive that vote. You might as well try to survive this one because there was a lot of chaos in the air and there was a lot leaning towards Q, and Q had made a big scene. So if you're going to bet on a tribal to hang on to your immunity idol, that was probably the one to do it on. Didn't work, but it was probably the one to do it on. Otherwise, in that episode, I think that you've got a lot of people positioning themselves very well. I do not understand where Liz and Venus are in this show. I don't know if they're the two people on the bottom or if they're two people on the top. I have no clue. The way that the show portrays Liz and Venus and had portrayed them was that they were kind of dead weight on the show, kind of like what Q is, where you don't really have a chance. I felt like that was how they were being portrayed, and now we're at a point where they're making calls. They are legitimately making calls to get rid of people. They are truly they're voting for all the people who are getting voted out. And I think that's huge because when you look at the last two tribals and people are talking about blindsides and chaos, Venus and Liz have been right there voting out the person who's walking out the door. So, as much as I'm not a believer in them, I don't really love Venus on the show. I don't really love Liz on the show. It doesn't matter what I think. They're playing very well. I think Charlie's kind of a killer right now. Charlie and Kenzie, I think every episode they get done with that. I get done watching the episode and I'm like, those two were portrayed as likable the whole time and they survived and they kind of had their fingers involved with what happened in the vote. They're positioned very well. I think Tiff is in a good spot, but I just don't think she's going to be able to get through it. Too many targets on her. She's got maybe just a little bit too much attitude. She might have one more blow up in her, and you just can't blow up on too many people because all these people are going to be on the jury. And, they're going to go back to Ponderosa and talk to other jury members. And that you don't want someone who you ticked off to go to the jury and taint your name among the other jury members. So, a guy like Ben hasn't made anyone mad. That's a guy who, when someone gets kicked to the jury, I'm imagining no one's going to the jury to Ponderosa and being like, man, Ben really bummed me out. They're not saying anything bad about him. His name is not going to be tainted in the jury. People like Q, he's pissed everyone off. His name's going to be tainted. People like Tiff, she's right there on the edge of making a move where she yells at somebody and that could go poorly. Now, as of now, she's only been at Q, and no one likes Q, so she probably will look good for being the person who stands up to him. But I'm just saying, I think there could be down the line, she could have a moment. We'll see. All right, thank you for listening to the podcast. It's a long one today, but you got a weekend, right? We need a long one so you can listen to it over the weekend. Thank you for listening. Thanks to Wes for coming on today. Appreciate it.